Hello there. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate how to set a hanging deadfall using our trigger system. The reason to set a hanging deadfall as opposed to the typical deadfall is the typical deadfall only allows you to get a certain size critter underneath it. The hanging deadfall will allow for a larger prey. And so I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate it. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to hang the deadfall from the bottom and we're going to hoist it up. You're going to have cordage that's going to hang from the trigger bar, and it's going to be set off by a treadle. Okay. This is going to be my treadle. I brought it with me. You don't necessarily have to have a treadle for your trigger system. You could use cordage hanging down with bait on it, and they could pull down on it. Basically, your trigger system is going to be anything that's being pushed down. I've got some cordage, which is going to be used for hoisting up the whole deadfall. And then I've got some cordage, which I'm going to wrap around the deadfall, so I've got something to grab. Okay, and then I've got my bait. Okay. This is the tree I've chosen. There's actually a game trail here. This is what I'm using for my deadfall. It's probably 100 pounds plus. You could use a typical just log, rock, whatever you choose. One of the first things you're going to want to do is go ahead and put your line on your trigger bar, because this isn't something you're going to want to do once it's up in the air. And what you're going to do is, on your trigger bar, take some bank line, some wire or whatever, feed it in through the hole there, bank line. You can see that. I just kind of tie a knot in it, kind of like that. And then that way it's in place, and just the downward pressure will set it off. Around the deadfall. Put another cord on it so I have something to hook to. You can do this however you want. Okay. Put our trigger line out of the way. Okay. You're going to want to get you a loop. It needs to be 3 to 4 inches. It's just an overhand loop. Put your diagonal bar in. Slip it into the engine notch. Go ahead and set your trigger system just like you would on your typical deadfall. Take your cordage for your deadfall, put it into the bottom notch where the G is, pull up on it. It's set at that point. Put tension on your cordage. Go ahead and pull it up into the air. Want to tie it off. Okay, now we've got our deadfall hanging in the air. Now you're going to want to be careful at this point, because you're going to don't want that thing falling on you. So you're going to want to find your height on your trigger system. stones here all these years. I'm going to take some of these crazy ends, I'm going to smush them down in this hole here. And on the treadle itself, if you can see that. Bring this back around. And that's going to be my basic set right there. I'm going to go ahead and pull it back, and then you can see the thing get tripped off. Now again, the reason for this is so that you can acquire larger game, or medium-sized game.